On this episode of The Pulse,
how have college coaches kept players in the game during COVID?
What does becoming a JED campus mean for Sacred Heart students?
And who are the unsung heroes behind some of the most important tasks on campus?
These stories and more on Sacred Heart's very own monthly news show. I'm Deanna Reinhardt.
And I'm Mia Sansanelli.
You're watching The Pulse.
From Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, this is The Pulse.
To kick off the first episode of the semester, an update on COVID in Connecticut. Governor Ned Lamont announced earlier last week that mask mandates in schools and daycare centers would be determined at the local level as of February 28th. So what does this mean for Sacred Heart? Keep watching your emails from the coronavirus planning team.
Thanks for that update, Deanna. For the last 2 years, coaches have been doing miracle work to keep their teams together during the pandemic. With the development of the Omicron variant, players have had to adapt yet again. Here is Carly Stroemel with the story.
2 years ago, our country was rocked by the introduction of COVID-19. People had to make huge adjustments to their daily lives in order to keep themselves and their families healthy. Sports team seasons were canceled, and everyone quickly became acquainted with the term quarantine. A virus that we thought would be quickly shut down is still creating stress for athletes and coaches today. With the emergence of the new Omicron variant, sports teams' coaches who thought that they would have had a regular year have had to adapt to adversity yet again.
Our team has been impacted by the new COVID variant this season. As much as we came into the season with high levels of excitement that we wouldn't have to deal with this anymore due to the booster shots and the vaccine, unfortunately we were sidelined a little bit early in the season due to the variant, with some of our players testing positive initially, and I actually was one of them too. Never expected it, but it happened. You have to take the bad with the good. And we still continue to try to stay positive and control what we control. So that's how we have to just keep moving forward.
Along with Coach Minetti, different coaches have had COVID struggles on their teams throughout the season. CJ Serino, head coach of the cheerleading team, touched on how their squad had multiple members test positive just weeks before taking home the crown at UCI Nationals in Disney World.
Weeks leading up to Nationals, our game day team ended up needing to be shut down just because we had too many athletes on the team that unfortunately tested positive. So as a result of that, I made the decision to just shut them down and keep them home a little bit longer. So that was definitely really tough. It was about 3 weeks before we were leaving for Nationals. We had lost about 2 weeks worth of practice. So it's definitely been hard trying to juggle, preparing for Nationals as much as you're supposed to, and also wanting to make sure that the girls are safe and that we, mitigate the spread of COVID. So,
with the constant developments of COVID, it is no surprise when people test positive. However, it was a shock to the women's basketball team when they heard their head coach tested positive and would be out for a game. They weren't used to the idea of playing without her.
I've prided myself on never missing a day to coach ever in my life. I'm never sick, I never miss practice, I never miss games. And so to have to watch the team from the sideline practice and watch them play in a game, it was really difficult. It was a really big challenge for me to feel helpless, I think, and not feel like I was there to support the team. But I was very blessed with great coaches, and all of them stepped in. They were all hands on deck with preparation and with practice and with communication. So I felt really good knowing the team was left in the best hands I could have asked.
Looking at all the physical challenges COVID has brought to college teams, we sometimes fail to think about the mental stress that is put onto them. Head women's ice hockey coach Thomas O'Malley talked about their team's experience with Omicron and how he has been there for his players through the pandemic.
It's hit everyone in their own particular way, mental stress, how people have handled it individually. The coaches, we've been here for our players, our athletic training staff, we've been here for our players. It affects people differently. Just the whole thing, with, having to go back to wearing masks all the time, when we're around the arena, not essentially on the ice, but just walking around in the locker room, things like that. I think, a lot of kids, feeling like, when's this ever going to end type of thing.
Athletes have had to make social adjustments in order to keep their teams safe from exposure. Limiting travel, maintaining social distancing, and wearing a mask are just some of the protocols followed to sustain team health. Sophia Clark, a freshman on the Sacred Heart cheerleading team, touched on some of the changes she has had to make to her social life.
So definitely have had to make some social adjustments outside of cheer. You know, you want to see your friends, we want to go home. I live on Long Island, so I'm just a boat ride away. But it's a risk I wasn't ready to take because we were competing so soon. And once you see losing all those athletes, it's like we put in so much work since August that it just wasn't worth it to go home. I'll see my friends all year round. I won't go to nationals all year round, so.
Being a college athlete living through COVID, you would think that there would be days that you would begin to feel negative. Luckily, these Sacred Heart coaches have had great response and perseverance from their teams.
I think our team was really resilient with it. There were a lot of players that had to take on new roles. There were a lot of different opportunities for players that might not have had playing time to now have opportunities to have playing time and prove themselves. So I think it helped in some ways.
I will say this, and I've said this many times before, you know, I've never heard one complaint from any of my players, you know, like this stinks, mask, this, that, whatever. You know what I mean? It's just like, I think everyone's just very happy just to be able to be here, be together, get out on the ice, practice, have fun.
With such unprecedented times, it is inspiring to see how Sacred Heart athletes, coaches, and teams have come together. For The Pulse, Carly Stroemel, Fairfield, Connecticut.
The Sacred Heart cheerleading team headed down to Disney World in Florida to compete at nationals and returned home with another national title. Deanna Drakopoulos has the story.
The Sacred Heart University cheerleading team came home from the most magical place on earth as three-time national champions, taking home first place in the open all-girl division at UCA Nationals.
It's absolutely crazy. It's the best feeling in the world. We never would have thought that this program would have even won one national title, let alone three. So it's just been an awesome ride, and we're really proud of all the girls. It's a great accomplishment.
The Universal Cheerleaders Association Championship is held at the Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando, Florida, and it is the biggest cheerleading competition in the country.
Winning a second national title is something I could have never possibly imagined. I've always dreamt of winning one, never thought that I could win two, and I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to win two with such amazing athletes.
So we left for nationals feeling really confident about our routine. We had a lot of performances that we felt really great with. CJ prepares us for anything that could happen, and she never emphasizes that we're gonna go there and we're gonna win. We just go there with an open mind, hoping to do our best, and that's what we did, and the judges really recognized that we did our best.
When they were calling all the teams' names during the award ceremony, it was definitely like squeezing the people's hands next to me and like hoping that our name wasn't called. And then every time they just called another school, we were just one step closer. So finally hearing our name called in first, I just knew that all the work since August 3rd had paid off.
My feelings while competing on the mat were definitely like a little nerve-wracking, but like I already knew what I needed to do, and I just like had to come out and perform.
With all the uncertainties going on in the world with COVID, it was just an amazing feeling to get down there and be able to compete and perform and just give it our all and have fun.
Winning a national title is always beneficial to the program, and it's amazing that we've won 3 in consecutive years, and it just puts Sacred Heart on the map. It creates a great name for our program, and then of course we get a lot of interest and we have a lot of athletes that want to be a part of our teams.
The Sacred Heart cheerleading team's hard work, talent, resilience, and dedication continues to shine as they receive their 3rd consecutive national title. For The Pulse, Deanna Drakopoulos, Fairfield, Connecticut.
How about a shout out to 5 Connecticut Olympic medal winners, Lindsay Jacobellis, Julia Marino, Nathan Chen, Madison Hubble, and Zachary Donahue. Congratulations, everyone, and keep making Connecticut proud.
After the break, learn what a JED campus is and how it can benefit students.
And how our landmark birthday benefited our four-legged friends.
After all your hard work, the studying, practices, and rehearsals, you deserve the best for what's next. The best in Connecticut higher education. Outstanding nursing and health professions programs, premier learning facilities and world-class tech labs, a nationally ranked business school, modern residential, social, and recreational facilities, championship D1 athletics, and pro-level performing arts. Make your next step the best step. Apply now to Sacred Heart University.
Welcome back to The Pulse.
Mental health is now being referred to by some as a campus-wide epidemic. In efforts to offer help, Sacred Heart has become a JED campus. I spoke with Sacred Heart's leaders heading the partnership to learn what it means for our community. Mental health awareness has taken on a new significance due to the way COVID-19 has limited our personal interactions and greatly altered our sense of normalcy and safety. Colleges and universities have seen a notable increase in mental health issues among students.
There's certainly been an increase in our services, for sure. Across our country right now, there's a mental health crisis, and the demand for counseling services is really unlike anything that we've ever seen. So the demand is certainly high, and we've kind of had the unique challenge of figuring out how we're going to adapt to the growing demand of student need right now.
At Sacred Heart University, there are many physical and mental wellness opportunities currently offered to students and staff. The counseling department offers individual and group counseling, and this year they now offer same-day counseling options, something that they have not been able to offer before. It is common to see that physical wellness plays a large part in students' mental wellness. Sacred Heart's Bobby Valentine Health and Recreation Center offers students a variety of activities and fitness-based classes throughout the week. Additionally, there have been meditation sessions offered over Zoom and in person. One group on campus that specifically promotes and encourages students to live a healthy lifestyle is known as SWEET, which stands for Student Wellness, Education, and Empowerment Team.
So our main role is just to show that we are just like you on campus. We all have to eat, sleep, take care of ourselves, and sometimes that's difficult. So our role on campus is just to make that a little easier, provide you with some resources, and just some guidance throughout your 4 years at SHU.
Sophie and her team of peer educators are known for their programs which discuss sleep hygiene and alcohol safety, and are most commonly known for when they bring therapy dogs to campus during stressful times in the semester. On January 18th, President Patillo announced to the Sacred Heart community that SHU is becoming a JED campus. The JED Foundation is designed to build upon existing student mental health, substance misuse, and suicide prevention efforts in their partnership with the school. The JED Foundation was created by a family who lost their son Jed to suicide in 1998. Suicide had and continues to be a leading cause of death among young adults, and communities have struggled to have honest discussions about mental health. Since the JED Foundation launched in 2000, they have become the nation's leading organization dedicated to young adult mental health. SHU has assembled a campus coalition to move the work with the JED Foundation forward. This coalition includes staff members from a variety of areas and interests on campus, including Dr. Geisler from Counseling and Dr. Samuelis, an associate professor in the Department of Psychology. Dr. Samuelis thinks it certainly serves as a signpost, so to speak, that mental health among students has become more of a focus, and that working with the JED Foundation will help us as a community ensure we are continuing to foster a community of caring, one that is informed through this collaboration on the best practices regarding services and program development. Dr. Samuelis also stated that we seem to be in a time where talking about mental health issues has become more acceptable, and that it is important for that to continue.
Becoming a JED campus, I think, is really important. We already have so many great resources on campus, like SWEET, the Counseling Center, professors, faculty, but I think just making it a well-known thing on campus that we're here to support each other's wellness as well as our own is really important.
Through the coalition's efforts, I'm really hoping that we lean into what gaps exist on campus. We can certainly say that we offer so much, but we also don't know what we don't know, and so to kind of lean into those gaps and the student populations that we're missing is obviously a priority of mine, because I don't want any student to struggle in silence.
House Bill 6402, which was passed by the Connecticut General Assembly in January of 2021, places new requirements on higher education institutions, including the creation of mental health coalitions. Over the course of the next few years, it is the university's hope that the community embraces these efforts of the coalition and that we successfully create long-standing initiatives that meet the challenges of mental health and the needs of our campus. Mia Sansanelli, Fairfield, Connecticut.
There are new clubs on campus this semester, including the Asian Pacific Islander Club, the Women's Empowerment Alliance, Shoe Stand Up, and the Jewish Club. To learn more about these clubs and their meeting times, check the CCO Instagram or email Kaylee Bowman for more information.
With the midterm elections coming up and the multitude of challenges the Biden administration is facing, Colleen Shaffer takes us on campus to see what the hallways are saying about President Joe Biden.
Do you approve of Joe Biden, yes or no?
Yes.
I'm not really a fan of him right now.
No.
No.
I don't know.
He's a good president, yes.
What do you want to tell Joe Biden right now?
As many of you know, Joe Biden is not the name of our current president. Joe Biden is our 46th president of the United States. During his presidency, he's facing plummeting approval numbers, polarization, and yes, a pandemic. On this episode of Taking the Pulse, we want to hear what you think about Joe Biden. Do you think there's anything that he can do to improve, to sway you?
I think he can. I think that, he ran as the president that would unite us after, the past 4 years. I think that if he stuck with that and, actually tried to unite us both domestically and everything he has going on with international policy, which is absolutely failing, I think we could do a lot better and his approval rating would go up.
I don't really know what to think about. I just hope that what he does is not super performative and that he actually takes action to follow through with the promises that he made. And I just hope he's not looking to just please everyone by saying and making empty promises.
Do you approve of him? Do you have an opinion on him?
I guess I approve of him because he's what we have, but I'm not thrilled.
He's fine. He just signed a non-discrimination act for AAPI people because of the hate crimes with COVID, so that's really good. But besides that, I don't really know anything about Biden. So,
do you think there's anything he can do to improve, to sway you or make you change your mind?
Well, he can start to address inflation, which is something he's kind of ignored or even denied the existence of. So we'll see if he actually deals with it.
For The Pulse, this is Colleen Shaffer, Fairfield, Connecticut.
The world was saddened by the news of Betty White's passing just weeks before turning 100. But when her birthday came around on January 17th, people honored her in a special way. Here is Brooke Sleavensky with the story.
On December 31st, 2021, the world grew silent when it was announced that the beloved Betty White had passed away in her home in Los Angeles just weeks before her 100th birthday. When the world learned of Betty's sudden passing, fans knew that they wanted to honor her in some way, but didn't know exactly how. That was until a social media post was created and shared online called the Betty White Challenge, encouraging people to donate as little as $5 to their local animal shelters, rescues, and other animal welfare organizations on January 17th, which would have been Betty's 100th birthday. This challenge ended up skyrocketing overnight as it grasped the attention of millions, and shelters all across the country were flooded with donations in honor of Betty, who loved animals deeply. One local organization heavily impacted by the Betty White Challenge was the Connecticut Humane Society. Located in Westport, this facility has been dedicated to rescuing and taking care of a variety of animals since 1881, with a current total today of 80 staff members and over 380 volunteers. Recently, I had the pleasure of speaking with Susan Walschlager, who is the Marketing and Communications Manager at the Connecticut Humane Society.
It was tremendous. So we saw that people were giving for weeks before her birthday, and then on her birthday, and then for a couple of days after that. And I mean, we were just absolutely blown away. So grateful, so thankful for Betty White and all that she did for animals in her life, and also for the donors who clearly respected her so much and really believe in these pets and wanted to help her legacy live on.
One of Hollywood's biggest icons, Betty graced herself on the big screens for several decades and was most famously known as the character Rose from the 80s hit sitcom The Golden Girls.
We couldn't pass a horse without Charlie saying, "Can I show you something in an Oxford?" And then he'd laugh, and I'd laugh. Sometimes even the horse would laugh.
Known for her other iconic TV roles in shows such as Hot in Cleveland, Life with Elizabeth, and more, she was also known by the world as an avid animal activist who throughout her entire career was a voice for animals.
Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
Since childhood, Betty has always had a soft spot for animals and was always actively finding ways to help them. At one point in her career, she even created a television program with her late husband, Alan Ludden, that ran from 1971 to 1972 called The Pet Set, a program dedicated to Betty's love for animals. And off-screen, she was a devoted volunteer and ambassador for several organizations, a few being the American Humane, the Los Angeles Zoo Association, and the Morris Animal Foundation.
And I don't think it'll come as any surprise to you to know that I'm an animal nut. I love them deeply and dearly. And that's why I'm so proud to have been with Morris Animal Foundation since 1971. That's a long time ago.
From tiny house pets to the rulers of the jungle, Betty adored all living creatures, big and small.
It just went fast and furious from minute one. So we raised over $35,000 for pets in need at the Connecticut Humane Society in honor of Betty White. And I think there's still some more coming in. As I'm seeing the success that our animals were having, and same with other groups, and I said, I bet this could become a thing every year where it's sort of a Giving Tuesday, but just for animals, because we saw how people responded, and we're never going to want to forget Betty White, like our whole country, right? So I think we're going to want to remember her and everything that she did every year. And if it also can have an impact on animals in need the way she would have dreamed about, then I think everybody can get on board with that, and just the difference that it makes for all the veterinary care that these animals need these days. And I think it was just a positive thing that we all needed right now for a lady who was just one in a million.
From her time on television to the outside work she did for the animals she cared so deeply for, Betty White lived an admirable life and changed the lives of millions out of her love and kindness. For The Pulse, Brooke Sleavensky, Fairfield, Connecticut.
After the break, who are Sacred Heart's unsung heroes?
We'll show you when we come back.
Welcome back to The Pulse. To many students, Sacred Heart is known for being home away from home. But why is that? One factor, our welcoming shoe dining associates. Maisy Carvalho asked students who is special to them when it comes to mealtime.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks in between, there is a staff working hard to make sure students have access to food on campus. But what is not featured on the menu, dedicated shoe dining employees giving their all to students every day.
With students and coming in for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, they really see our staff a lot, so it kind of becomes, that acquaintance that they see, and then it turns into recognizing names and orders, and there's this draw where our students and our associates have great conversations, and our staff, we really like them to ask them how their days are going in classes and really help them through their day.
And soon, the small talk becomes a bond.
Good morning.
Olivia Chaponis has been a 63's regular since freshman year and has become very well acquainted with some of the staff. Her strongest connection is with Louise, a familiar face to many.
It's the same people every day. She's part of our community. She's basically part of our family too, I feel like, as a lacrosse team.
Allowing me to come in here with the boys and have a great meal every day. She's always looking out for us, always smiling. It's always just making it a pleasure to be here. So.
We have a lot of longevity in our associates. More than half of my staff has been here for more than 5 years. We actually just celebrated 2 associates who've been here for 25 years.
And Louise is no exception.
I've been doing this almost 18 years. So every graduating senior, you know what I mean? I'd see them at the football games when I do football games. And it's just different.
But what makes these friendships so important?
I always grew up with going and seeing my grandmother or my mom in the morning, and then when I got here, freshman year, we got close because I used to come in here all the time, and it was she was my grandmother away from home.
Some sports teams have made 63s their post-workout tradition. Seeing their favorite staff member is a part of this.
Every single one of them is great. I've had interactions with almost every worker. That's really good. And they know our team because we always are here. And like, shoot volleyball's here, and it's really cute. I like them. One time there was a bagel stand, and our team said we really like them, so they started doing them every week just for us.
I love shoe dining, especially Linda's staff. Obviously 63s too, but a nudie at acai stand, he's like my best friend. Like, he gets worried about me if he doesn't see me, and he calls everyone his friend, and he always has a smile on his face. Even after he got into a car accident and came back 3 days later, he still showed up to work with a smile, and he's the sweetest person ever.
When asked how he felt knowing the impact he had on students, a nudie shared.
Oh, I feel so blessed about that, you know?
And it's nice to have a smiling face like that in the mornings, especially when you're not feeling too well. So, yeah, he's the best.
Like if they need to talk or they need anything, you know what I mean? I'm always there to, help out.
Like, we have a different bond than most people.
Kayla Hawley often receives positive messages about associates via shoe dining social media.
The important part of my job is that they're not really thanking me, that they're thanking our associates. So as soon as that comes, it's like right off my plate. Like, I want to send it to everybody so they know a job well done.
So the next time you have a great interaction with our friends in shoe dining, message Kayla Hawley to let associates know just how heroic they are.
Bye, honey. Have a great day.
For The Pulse, Maisy Carvalho, Fairfield, Connecticut.
And those aren't the only employees making a difference at Sacred Heart. In our next story, Sean Morin explored shoe at night. Let's see what the overnight staff had to say.
As campus quiets down for the night, the streetlights turn on, dorm lights turn off, and students go to sleep. But for some public safety officers and cleaning staff, their nights are just getting started.
Normally, I'm probably up around 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
I am waking up at 9 o'clock at night.
But normally I'm up after about 4 or 5 hours of sleep.
I spoke with Elena Akimovo, night shift supervisor for SSC. Whether dorm, recreation, or academic building, her team works throughout the night to make sure the buildings are spotless in the morning.
We are cleaning pretty much all main campus, College of Health Education, Student Center, Health and Wellness, and dining facility. And of course, common areas, hallways, bathrooms. Yes, it's very important.
And their work does not go unnoticed.
We have to have attitude like we are cleaning our own house. So yes, I got a lot of compliments from the parents. They were coming, they were telling that the campus looks very clean.
Across campus, I met up with Officer Rodney Sadler while he was patrolling Sacred Heart.
And we go out on patrol. Main thing is to try to remain visible, and typically we try to hit each building at least once, a walkthrough.
As a 19-year veteran, he's done a lot of building walks, and he took me along on one, this time through the Martiri Center of the Liberal Arts.
Yeah, so just basically looking for anything, obviously making sure, people that don't belong here, not in here.
He even paid a visit to our Pulse TV studio, but our lights were too bright for the night shift.
Somebody in there? That's a lot of lighting, man.
In our time together, we didn't receive any calls, but not every night is like that.
I would say we get like one call a night. We on average one call a night, but there's you might go 2 or 3 days with no calls, and then one night, like 5 or 6 calls, back to back to back.
And when I asked if he's ever slow to react to those calls due to the lack of sleep,
no,
he was quick to answer.
When the calls come in, we're pretty much ready to go. Once we get our briefing and you get in the car, you do your vehicle inspection, put all your junk in the car with you, whatever you're gonna take with you, and you're ready to go.
What surprised me most about the night shift, even though Elena and Officer Randall work very different jobs, they keep coming to work every night for the same reason.
But as far as my favorite part of the job is just the community.
In my heart, I don't know, I never thought it's like start at the beginning when you're feeling a part of big family.
It's implicit in our job that we kind of, you know, mentors, older brothers, uncles. But I've been here since 2003, so I definitely feel like part of the family, part of the Sacred Heart University family.
So next time you save that 10-page paper for 2 a.m., stop and say hi. Reporting for The Pulse, on the night shift, Sean Morin in Fairfield.
That's all for today.
Be sure to follow us on social media to get a behind-the-scenes look at The Pulse.
Stay tuned. In addition to The Pulse, we are going to have a new program, The Weekly Beat, to get all your campus updates.
I'm Deanna Reinhardt.
And I'm Mia Sansanelli.
We'll see you next time on The Pulse.